My name is Dr. Eugene Barilo from Reisberg. I'm a senior consultant with Metro Gallery, and we are thrilled to be hosting Consequence, an exhibition of recent paintings by Tom Gerrard. To me, this exhibition encapsulates Tom's transition from being a street artist to being more of a studio and easel artist. The title Consequence can also refer to the fact that this exhibition is the consequence of the 2020 lockdown. Tom used to travel quite extensively all around Australia as well as overseas, whether it is to Japan, to Europe, to South America, to execute site-specific commissions on buildings in laneways, but the lockdown kept him in Melbourne. So being an artist who was moving around prior to 2020, during the lockdown period, we are witnessing a greater, shall we say, interiorization of his art. So from focusing on cities and laneways and buildings, he is focusing more on the home environment, and it is clearly coming through his works in this exhibition. In paintings such as the bedroom and the dining room, we really see the expression of Tom's current exhibition Consequence, where the emphasis is shifting from street art, from street painting, into the painting of interior scenes. These two works really take us through Tom's journey of 2020. The references to his previous work, these faces, these ubiquitous faces that appear throughout Melbourneian laneways and certain building sites, still appear in these paintings as a reference to his, shall we say, pre-lockdown life, whereas in 2020 it is all very much about the home environment. To me, this particular painting is one of the perhaps more important, more interesting in the entire exhibition, because it is indeed a self-portrait of the artist and his wife in their home environment. At lunch, Tom has candidly shared with me that during the lockdown he spent a lot of time watching YouTube, watching stories about arts as museums. It was quite natural for a guy like Tom, who travels a lot, travels internationally quite a bit, to feel a little bit suffocated during the lockdown. So YouTube and Netflix and various art documentaries have provided him with that window outside Australia. But also while watching documentaries about other artists, their influence can be seen in his new body of work. For example, within these works we are seeing a implementation of three-dimensionality. These paintings have a great depth to them and a great use of perspective, which might be seen as a nod to Tom's influence of the old master paintings. Also, the elements of paintings within the paintings, narrative within the narrative, is also another influence of the old master tradition. Being stuck at home meant that Tom started looking at pot plants as the only version of the outside, of the only thing inside his home that would relate to the world outside, and therefore a large part of the exhibition focuses on pot plants, on paintings of pot plants. And you can notice the designs of the pot plants as well as of the floor mosaics, which are very reminiscent of traditional South American designs. And this is a nod to Tom's, first of all, love of travel, and secondly, his fascination with everything South American, with South American art and culture. In his recent body of work, Tom focuses on Melbourneian laneways, on detritus that one can find in the laneways, on things that people throw out, whether it is old chairs and couches and old bits of wire. And we then see these objects reverberating, repeating through Tom's paintings of interiors. And to an extent, it almost illustrates the proverb about one person's trash could be another person's treasure. Also, the way in which Tom executes with airbrush some of the details within the painting, especially the plants and details of the houses, reminds me very strongly of Howard Arkley, another artist who was quite famous for painting Ode to Suburbia. And within the context of this gallery, which used to exhibit paintings by Howard Arkley, we can almost see Tom as a descendant of Howard Arkley.